5:03 to go. Someone has run on the field. Some guy with a bra. And now he's not being chased. He's running down the middle, the 40. Arms in the air in a victory salute. He's pulling down his pants. Put up your pants, my man. Pull up those pants. He's being chased to the 30. He breaks a tackle from a security guard. The 20, down the middle, the 10, the 5. He slides at the 1, and they converge on him at the goal line. Pull up your pants, take off the bra, and be a man.
Welcome to the Mike and Molson Too Good for Radio podcast.
And there's your motto for the weekend.
Yes, pull up your pants, take off your bra, and be a man. Kevin Harlan with a fantastic call of streaking.
That was from the 2021 Super Bowl when there was a streaker of sorts. And there was another one this year.
Oh, there was.
And,
I did not see this.
Well, CBS did a really good job of just holding. They don't go to the camera
until he's actually. Did he not make it onto the field then? I assume
he made it onto the field.
Oh, he did. Okay.
So this was a dude, I guess, who is this fancy pants day trader, has more money than he should have.
Oh God, one of those guys.
Yeah, Alex Gonzalez.
Oh, I thought his name would be Chase.
Yeah,
for some reason.
Who paid $42,000 to sit in the front row.
Wouldn't you want to see the entire game then?
Right.
If you're paying $42,000 for the seat, that, by the way, that seems low for a front row of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it does. You're right. And so he, at some point, leaps out and makes a run for the field. And the audio exists someplace where they just sort of stop down for a second and they say someone's on the field and awkward.
Yeah.
And then they go back to the play. Now, there was cell phone footage of this guy streaking, and I'm using air quotes when I say streaking, on the field.
How undressed was he?
Not very undressed. He got his shirt off and then he was running with shorts.
That's not streaking.
That's not streaking.
No, you're not streaking at all.
The audio we just listened to also was a guy who, I don't know, it was like he was wearing a one of those Borat swimsuits.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, the mankini. The mankini. Okay, I give that guy more credit than the shorts guy.
But again, he was wearing shorts and
you're not streaking.
Barely got it down. Man, if you're going to streak,
you got to go full.
Everything's got to be flopping.
Correct.
You don't get the title of streaker unless you streak.
If you're just running around shirtless with shorts, you're just a guy in a neighborhood on a jog. You're not streaking.
Gym shoes, socks, full bush.
Oh, you have to. You have to. Yeah, if you're trimmed down there, that's not streaking either. You got to be au natural.
And you got to be in such a way that it's flopping and moving around.
Yes, exactly. It's got to be to where the point where...
Can't be hiding.
No, you got to be the point where the cops and the security guard don't want to tackle you.
Right.
Because everything's everything's flinging around and they may touch something they shouldn't touch. So what happened to Mr. Gonzalez? I assume he was escorted and didn't see the rest of the game.
He got promptly tackled by security guards. And he says it was all worth it. Being rich is living life on your terms, according to your possibilities, not your limitations. So why not do something no one else dares to do?
Ugh.
I spent $42,000 to live an experience I'll never forget. And I share how hashtag set and forget has changed my life. From Dunkin' Donuts to #1 on the news nationwide.
No, you weren't.
Oh, and by the way, as the saying goes, quote, everything that happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Yeah, that's a myth.
Oh, God. Insufferable at best. And by the way, it wasn't national news. I'm just hearing about it. And you're probably just hearing about it on a 14th rated podcast.
Yeah, and so it was a little. He got like a misdemeanor charge for trespassing or something like that
because he didn't go full nude. Maybe that's how you circumvent things. You don't have public lewdness because all the twigs and berries aren't hanging out. But you're not streaking. You're just being a nuisance.
Now, an interesting story from the one from a few years ago was this was a dude who put a bet.
Yes,
he placed a prop bet that there would be a streaker, and then he ensured he'd win by streaking. And then bragged about it.
You can't then brag about that because I don't know. I think then they don't have to honor the bet.
He placed a $50,000 bet that there would be a streaker during the Super Bowl. He ran onto the field by himself and cashed out with $34,000 and a $1,000 fine. But
Did they end up taking away his money?
They ended up, according to the Mirror, he didn't get his.
Because you can't do that. That's like insider information.
Yeah.
You can't be like, I'm going to put this big bet on something that probably won't happen, but then I'll be the one to make it happen.
Dude, if you're going to streak,
you got to go full.
It's got to be like the movies.
Yes. You got to have all types of things hanging out, flipping around, going over here, going over there. Giving yourself a black eye if you're a lady. It's got to be that kind of stuff.
Got to see that. You got to see your butt jiggling when you're running
right. Exactly.
around.
That's the way it's got to be.
And just gym shoes, socks, and then
the rest just the way nature intended.
Take your comeuppance.
Speaking of things that are kind of hanging around here, this poor 66-year-old man in Germany. This is craziness right here. Neighbors alerted the police, and this is according to German tabloid Bild, B-I-L-D, Bild. So neighbors alerted the police early on Tuesday morning on account of a dog's incessant barking coming from a man's home at around 2 a.m. Upon arriving at the property, a single-family home in Herne, which is in northwest Germany, the first responders heard pained groans coming from inside. At this point, they broke down the door to find the 66-year-old man and his dog. Police quickly realized the man's life was in danger, and he was rushed to the hospital. According to the German tabloid Bild, neither the man's penis or an instrument of the crime has been recovered from the scene so far.
What?
Yeah, the victim has also been unable to provide information to himself due to his health.
They haven't found his penis, did you say?
Yes, that's what I said.
Yeah, you kind of glossed over that.
Yeah, because apparently, according to officials, the most likely hypothesis being considered is that the dog was the cause of the man's injuries.
Oh, no.
First Police Chief Frank Lamanis told Bild that the man was put into an artificial coma upon arrival at the hospital. He told the German tabloid, quote, that the man had been put in artificial coma by the doctors. We hope we can interview him soon. One hypothesis, of course, is that the dog, which is about the size of a Jack Russell Terrier, bit off his penis and ate it. That's the hypothesis. Because they come into groans, blood in the man's genital area, groans of plenty. They rush him to the hospital because blood is just spurting out of a place it shouldn't be spurting out of. But they go back, they can't find the penis or an instrument that would lead to the penis otherwise be cutting off anyway.
Do you wonder what the dog is thinking? I mean, because I wonder that sometimes when my cat will attack my toe just because I move it under the bed sheets.
You can't blame the dog.
And the cat just, rah, rah, rah. It's like, what did you think that was? So what did the dog think? It was like, oh, man, sausage.
They say, right, one hypothesis, of course, is that the dog, besides the Jack Russell Terrier, bit off the penis and ate it. The wound could also be a bite wound, but it's also possible a sex accident or a crime. Although the incident occurred on Monday night, police are going public with the sensitive case now and appeal for witnesses. Bill reported that
the dog's not talking.
Yeah, no. The tabloid reported that a murder squad has picked up the case in order to, quote, clear up the crime, which has so far been completely open. Should police chief's hypothesis be correct, it would not be the first time such an incident has been reported. In fact, in 2012, German outlets reported that a 61-year-old Austrian man was attacked by a loose dog, which also bit off his genitals.
Wow.
The man had been working on his bike when he was attacked. Was he working nude?
Oh, no.
When all of a sudden he was attacked, he was rushed to the hospital.
Is this why dogs sniff your crotch?
I guess they're looking for a tasty victual.
Are they?
I'll get your kibbles and bits, and she'll like
something?
it too. Yeah. Oh, she'll like it too. Kibbles and bits and bits and bits. They say after the man had in 2012, the man had an operation that lasted several hours. Surgeons were able to save the man's genitals.
Yay!
The dog and its owner were never found, who attacked his penis.
I got the craziest scar. You want to see this?
Oh God!
I like the idea though that the crime scene cleanup crew is there, and I'm hoping it plays out in such a way that someone is looking under the couch and goes, "Wait a minute."
Uh-oh.
Here it is.
Found it.
Here it is. Wasn't the dog at all.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Sorry for blaming you, dog.
Yeah, there's the penis right there.
It rolled under the couch.
Not quite sure how it got off in the first place, but how does it get to the point where your dog is biting the penis?
Yeah.
Is what I want to know. To your point, maybe I don't know, some weird stuff's going on with peanut butter or something, and the next thing you know, the dog's like, all right,
Yeah, I'm worried now when they go sniffing that's what's going on.
Don't let dogs get close to your junk. You may end up like German Man. Last week we talked, speaking of dogs,
Yes.
we talked about the world record holder, Bobby, which had his world record stripped from him. Well, now let me introduce you to Jenny DeVander, who is now a member of the Guinness World Record Club.
What'd she do?
Well, she was reading the 2023. Now, everything about this is kind of goofed. Just to give you a heads up on this, all right? So Jenny DeVander is reading the 2023 Guinness Book of World Records with her son when she saw there was a category for the largest tongue circumference. That's when she knew she had a large tongue, and after measuring at home, she suspected it might be record-breaking. Is that a conversation you have while reading the Guinness World Record with your son? When you look at it, you're like, hey, son, I have a pretty abnormally large tongue. Do you think my tongue is a world record tongue?
Yeah, except she said it like this. Hey, son, I've got the thing-looking tongue. Do you think that's on the
Her dentist performed the official... Okay, then... So you think you have then you got to call the dentist and be like, I have to have someone be able to actually legitimize my claim of the largest tongue circumference. So you call up your dentist and be like, hey, you're never going to believe this. So I'm reading the Guinness World Record with my kid, my son, and I realize, oh, fat tongues are a thing that can be there. And I have a big old fat tongue, and that's what I told my son, so I want my fat tongue measured.
Sorry, I'm really distracted here. Are we talking, when you say circumference, are we talking about around?
Yeah, not length. She's not like Gene Simmons.
No, but I mean...
She's got a big old fat tongue.
Okay. Because it wasn't...
I don't know if I could say... I mean, it's a podcast, so there's no FCC violations, but I got a big old fat tongue.
Okay. All right. Because I'm also... I don't know what I'm picturing also just like around length. I don't know what I'm picturing.
Circumference. So when she's that's just a big old fat tongue she's got going on there.
Okay.
And I just am weirded out that that would come to mind when you saw that and you would immediately go to your son, I got a big old fat tongue.
How fat can it be?
Well,
there's only so much room in your mouth.
It's funny. You mentioned that.
Okay.
So her dentist performed the official measurement by wrapping dental floss around her tongue and then measuring the length of the floss. She officially earned the record with a 5.21-inch circumference.
Okay.
For her fat tongue.
That's a pretty fat tongue.
That's Jenny Fat Tongue.
That's right.
She's going to start on OnlyFans, I think. She's proud of it. She says, quote, tongues aren't exactly gorgeous, are they? But they are pretty cool. They're pure muscle and so agile. What are you doing there, Jenny Fat Tongue? When you think about it, the tongue is the only muscle that's free to move around like that. Come on. We use it all the time to speak and eat. It moves around all day, and it never gets tired.
Has she never heard of fingers?
Correct. There's that, too. Well, that's Jenny Finger Tongue over there. What? I don't know if you can say that. By the way, she says that her massive mouth muscle comes in handy when she's playing the flute. Doesn't say of what kind, but I think Doug Flutie has an idea for her.
So I'm trying to...
And she'll like it, too.
Would that be like a 5-inch circumference? Right?
I don't know about the... Jenny Fat...
I'm trying to... Let me try to put this 5-inch circumference in my mouth. Well, this microphone. That's probably like a...
exactly.
I can't do that.
Can you imagine making out with Jenny Fat Tongue?
Here, take a picture for the website.
Jenny Fat Tongue over there.
Huh, I'll be damned.
So much of that is goofed of, one, happening upon that being a record. Two... and then going ahead and telling your kid, I got a fat tongue, and then calling up your dentist, and then being Jenny Fat Tongue for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I can understand long tongue.
Yeah, I get the long tongue, but I just don't know if you're really
fat tongue.
I would think an instrument as kind of fragile as a flute or dainty as a flute, you wouldn't need the fat tongue for the flutage.
Do you tongue a flute?
I don't know if you tongue a flute. I mean,
we'll be right back after this from Nugenics.
Pause and shall I get to?
Welcome back to the show.
Welcome back to Mike and Molson, Too Good for Radio podcast. You have a situation, we've talked for many years in our time together about the name triumvirate.
Yeah.
And you have happened upon a argument between family members about a certain name?
A couple of friends. They've been friends all their life. And her friend, 22, and her husband just had a brand new baby girl.
Oh, boy.
And they want to name their daughter Juliet Mariah.
Okay. That's your prerogative. That seems so far okay with the name triumvirate. Romeo and Juliet, Mariah Carey. Okay. where's things going awry here?
So, but they point out that Juliet is not going to be spelled like a common peasant Juliet that we all know.
How many, I guess in Romeo and Juliet, but she's still kind of a member of royalty, right? Because they're
Stop trying to inject facts into what I'm trying to get across here.
Sorry,
That it's not going to
I'm
be
trying to make
for
sure
all the Juliets in the world. She's not going to have the same spelling as the
Okay.
Juliet because this is a special Juliet.
Okay.
So her daughter is going to be named Juliet, spelled G-H-I-U-L-I-Y-E-T-T-E.
What? Okay. What?
Do you want to write this down while I
Yeah.
I
Okay.
say it?
Okay. Right. Spell it out for me. Juliet spelled what?
G-H-I-U-L-I-Y-E-T-T-E. Mariah, M-A-H-R-I-Y-A.
There's too many. There's too many Y's. By the way, it now looks like Gillette, the best a man can get.
Yeah.
The spelling of the first one are Gouliet, and then Mariah.
I thought the spelling was a joke until she showed me they are serious. I told her with that spelling of a simple but beautiful name, it's just going to ruin the little girl's life.
Yeah, she's never going to be able to spell anything correctly.
She got mad and told me to stop ruining her mood and that I'm being mean.
Once again, to remind everyone, G-H-I-U-L-I-Y-E-T-T-E for Juliet.
Why ruin a beautiful name by including letters that don't belong there?
Correct, like the H. It's weird.
I texted her yesterday and told her that the little girl will try to change her name or at least go by her middle name since it's normal.
No, M-A-H-R-I-Y-A for Mariah.
She told me
Mariah.
She told me to stop texting her and that I'm a bad friend and I'm being an a-hole for making fun of the name.
No, you're not. You're doing a good service. You're doing a good deed in that situation.
Because damn it, this kid's going to go to kindergarten one day and they're going to, first of all, not know what to say when they see her name. And then she'll have to say, well, can you spell your name? And she won't be able to.
Well, yeah, everyone's going to snicker. Just think about I don't know if they still inflict Shakespeare on kids in high school.
Right.
But inevitably, everyone has to read Romeo and Juliet. And she's going to raise her hand immediately right and be like, that's the incorrect spelling of Juliet.
Yeah, right.
My name is the right way. The bard, whatever his name is, this Shakespeare character, is not spelling my name correctly.
And what a life of a hassle of, you're on the phone, you're ordering, I don't know, a pizza. What's the name I should put on there? Juliet.
Okay,
G-I-H-M-Q-7-R.
Niner. And Bingo was their name-o.
Yeah, exactly.
God bless. So yeah, no, I don't think that's. I think she's doing the Lord's work. She's not being an a-hole in this situation. She's just warning her that. You change one letter, okay, but when you make it that convoluted,
man, yeah, it's just complicated.
It's a mess
for everybody. And what exactly is the point you're trying to get across?
It's like
even if you wanted to figure out a way to spell Juliet with a G, a little weird, but you could probably.
But throwing that extra Y in there.
Get by in there. But, you've got consonants on top of consonants, and you've got Ys and too many Ts, and it's just – and there is no way that she makes it to 12 without saying to her parents, you guys got to stop this.
It's like those idiots that have Jeff with a G.
Right.
That's not Jeff.
No, it's not.
No,
it's not.
That's G off.
Yeah, stave that weird spelling for the Georges out there.
Right, exactly. So I think this person definitely, though, is an a-hole. That lady not. This lady is. I'm going to fill you in. This story goes all over the place. It's a TikTok influencer, or she calls herself thus, Teresa Rowley, who basically just got off a Carnival cruise, which we've talked about how terrible cruises are. And this just proves our point. Because she says she almost spent a night in cruise jail because of an interaction she had with a woman on a cruise.
Okay.
All right. Feel free to interject at any point and cast aspersions at one Teresa. Here's what goes down. All right. She's on this cruise with her mom. They decide to go to the ship's piano bar. She says, we're all piano besties until the third day when a little tiny woman scuttles her way in, hops up in the open stool next to me, and won't shut the F up. She also describes this little woman as having a Polly Pocket stuck in her throat when she talked. I'm not quite sure what exactly that means, but nonetheless.
So it sounds like she's a little person,
Well, she's 5'3", they say.
Oh, so that's not.
No. So she says throughout the entire performance, so they've already gone the first couple of days, and all of a sudden this one shuffles in with her Polly Pocket in her throat voice. The entire performance, this woman kept talking and yelling across the bar and pretending to fall asleep. Like she's like, boring. At one point, the pianist played Whitney Houston's "I Will Always Love You." This didn't stop the woman from being disruptive. As the woman kept talking, anger was boiling this woman's blood, and she goes, "I just about had it. Maybe it was the Pinot Grigio, but I don't think it was. I think it was the annoyance."
Yeah.
When the performer, the actual piano player, implied the crowd to be quiet, the woman didn't catch the hint. That's when the woman in question, the creator, finally silenced her. I said, "Everyone's listening. No one's talking. You need to shut up." Once the performance was over, the content creator overheard the woman talking, "This bitch next to me is being so rude. She told me to shut the F up." She said, "Hey, you know what? I'm getting worked up here. You're the one that's causing disturbance, not me." The mom then said, "Just ignore her. This woman's being rude. It doesn't have to be a scene." That's when the Polly Pocket lady says to the mom, "Oh, I think you're the rude one, bitch."
Oh, man.
So she wasn't going to allow this because you just dissed my mom.
Yeah, did you pick her up and throw her?
So basically, it was so crazy. I think everyone in the bar knows that you're being disrespectful to me. She said, pointing to that girl, to that guy, that performer, most importantly, to my mom. So say it again. Say it again.
Good. She's not all trying to de-escalate here.
Exactly. She says, you can talk your shit to me when I get back, but you're not going to look at my mother. You're not going to speak to my mother. Is that understood?
Woo!
Yeah. So while in the restroom.
Man, women fight nasty, don't they?
They do. So she laid that down and then excused herself like, I'm going to the bathroom and your ass better not be back here when I come back or shit's going to go down. The woman left without explanation. After the incident, everything was fine. Apparently, on the last night of the cruise, the lady and her mom were walking down a hallway and they stumbled upon the same woman who was vomiting in a trash can at the time.
Oh, fun.
When the woman looked up at her, and I don't know why it's like such a big deal, but when the woman who was vomiting looked up at her, the person who made the video in the first place, the TikTok creator, took out a Pepto-Bismol tablet and slipped it in her mouth and chewed it in front of her. She says, I wasn't proud of my behavior in that moment. Yeah. And she says, I don't like who I become on Carnival Cruises, actually. So, and then they just kind of left it at that.
In my mind, everything on a cruise is just like this.
Correct. By the way, that video amassed 21.1 million views.
Sure.
And someone said, I don't like who I become on Carnival Cruises should be their new ads.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm with you. I feel like every part of a cruise is that.
Man, the Debbie Gibson 80s cruise is starting today, and I'm not.
Why are you not on it?
I'm not on the boat.
Why are you not? Why are you here with us, you ding dong?
I know. I don't know how. I had things to do.
Oh,
I know.
Man.
I should have blocked it off.
You should have. You know what? We're going to start a GoFundMe.
Yeah.
And all of our sweet Nugenics money is going to go to getting Johnny on there with just nothing but a bottle of Nugenics and following Debbie Gibson around and just saying, but Doug Flutie said you'd like it too.
You're going to like this. You're going to like this. You're really going to like this.
You're really going to like this. The Big Hurt said so.
Yeah.
The women look at him in a certain way.
Yeah, that'll get me arrested.
Yeah, that will get him. Well, speaking of getting arrested, a man who's supposed to do the arresting got arrested over in Japan.
A 44-year-old police sergeant is now under arrest on suspicion of breaking and entering after he was caught inside a house. He works for the Ushigomi Police Department and was quoted as saying he broke into the house where a man and his wife live to steal the woman's underwear.
Oh, you can't do that as an officer of the law. You can't do that if you're not an officer of the law, but it's specifically that. You're here to uphold the peace.
The husband woke up at 5:40 a.m. and saw the police officer in the house and then called more police. There's not enough police here.
I was going to say, what do you do in that instance when you wake up and there's someone that shouldn't be in your home, but it's a police officer, and you go, 911, what's the emergency? I got a cop in my house. Well, why are you calling us? No, you don't understand. It shouldn't be in my house.
He's standing in a mirror and holding a bra up to his chest to see if it'll
Like
fit.
that guy we talked about at the beginning.
Right.
He's like that streaker.
Yeah.
Get the bra off and to fill up your pants. Be a man.
Spokesman for the Tokyo Metropolitan Police Department said, quote, "It is extremely regrettable that an officer was arrested. What? We will conduct a thorough investigation into the incident."
It's pretty obvious. He had a handful of panties.
And man, yeah, exactly. And what do you go back to work now? Now you're police panty man. You're panty police man.
Panty policeman and Jenny Fat Tongue, ladies and gentlemen, their new OnlyFans page.
The other regular policemen are not going to let him live this down.
No, well, nor should he. It's such a weird. I never understood the allure of stealing that
underwear.
Stealing that particular thing.
Stealing underwear.
To what end?
What are you going to do with it?
I mean, I'm not saying it's not pretty at times. I'm not saying it doesn't look good, but it just by itself. And I guess that's another thing of like, I was guilty of it as well. Of when you first go into Victoria's Secrets, why are you so nervous?
It's uncomfortable, isn't it?
It is, and I don't. Now that I've gone in there numerous times over the years,
You've
look at me
been
both.
desensitized,
Right? But it's like the first time I went in, like I don't. It's not like anyone in there is wearing it at that time.
I know, but
it's all on mannequins. But I feel like you get that same type of sensation of like I'm rifling through someone's delicates, and I don't want to be doing that.
Even seeing it folded up on a table, it's like you're not supposed to be here. It's like you walked into the wrong locker room.
And they're always so, in my experiences there, the individuals who work there are welcoming. They try to help you out. But there's also something just weird as a man going, yes, I'm here to look at your thongs. Could you help me find the correct size and style of this?
What size thong does your wife wear? You're supposed to know that.
Right, exactly. And then you have to say, well, I don't, because then you run the risk of like, you don't want to buy a size up.
No.
So then it's all goofed.
What do you? I don't want to. I mean, you can decline to answer.
It's all goofed.
Do you have like a notebook of your wife's sizes, just so?
You have to,
I
right?
guess you have to do something.
You have to. So I have the information that I need, and I feel much more comfortable now. I walk in and I laugh at those who are just kind of like uncomfortable about the situation.
Do you pick them up and then hold them to the light to see how see-through they are?
No. That's the one part I'm still.
Oh yeah, I can totally see through this.
That's the one part I'm still not comfortable with. Of like when I can't find the right size, like I am not comfortable by myself rifling through to look at the rest of them. I will then ask if I haven't seen it out there to be like, hey, do you have this in that size?
Man, I think the first time I bought an article of clothing for a woman, I'm standing in the ladies' section of the store, which is already uncomfortable. I'm weird. I'm sweating because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to make a mistake. And this woman comes up and says, "Can I help you, sir?" And I'm trying to size her up to see how close
No, you can't do that. You can't do that.
I'm trying to see how close she is to my girlfriend so that I can figure out a way. It's like, can you just wear this for me and see if it... I mean, the whole thing is just, it's torture. I don't think women understand how hard it is being us.
It's very difficult to be a man.
You have no idea what we go through.
It's very difficult being a man walking into a place of nothing but women's underpants and bras and lingerie and everything else. It's so difficult to be us.
Absolutely brutal.
Yeah, it's so, it's okay. I'll just say you can come out on the other side.
And maybe that's what this cop was doing. Maybe his wife was about the same size, and he said, I've just got to check the sizes.
What if his alibi was, I wasn't going to actually steal the underwear. I was checking for size because I didn't want to ask my wife.
I was just seeing if it was machine washable. We don't like going to the dry cleaners every time.
Yeah. Well, who would do that? I dare someone to take their underwear to the dry cleaners.
I don't know what women wear. Do they wear stuff that's so delicate they can't put it in the washer?
I don't know. I mean,
isn't that why they always wash it in the sink and hang it on the shower curtain rod? Isn't that why they do that? I don't think you can put that stuff in the washer.
Yeah,
isn't that what Woolite is for?
I think that's the only thing.
All right. We'll find out next week on the Too Good for Radio podcast. We're going to research this intently and find what are you laughing? I think I want to know the answer to that, Michael.
That and so much more. And did the dog really eat the penis? Find out next week. It's no, it's in the sink with the underpants. On the Too Good for Radio podcast.
I think I'm right.
I think you are too.